with it being off season, and this isn't news or anything, I decided to compile a list of 10 free agents that I think the Pistons might target this summer. Now, I didn't add guys like James Harden, Paul George, none of those guys, because I just don't think they're coming here. I'm trying to be realistic as possible. And I thought we could react to this list I had, and I'll be reading off all 10 guys that were mentioned that I made in this graphic. So here's the graphic, and I'm going to read every single one of these players. So as you guys can see, the Pistons are going to have close to 65 million cap space, most cap space in the NBA. So this is the list that I compiled. And these are all unrestricted free agents. I didn't have any restricted free agents in here. So you have Malik Monk at number 1. He's 26 years old currently, played for the Kings this year. Nick Claxton, number 2, plays for the Brooklyn Nets. He's only 25 years old. Gary Trent Jr., 25. I believe he plays for the Raptors. I could be wrong. I want to say he plays for the Raptors. You guys can let me know if I'm wrong. You guys usually do. 4 is Kelly Oubre. That's a guy that I really wanted last offseason. He's 28, played with the 76ers this year. Number 5, Isaiah Hartenstein. He's 26. He's currently playing with the New York Knicks. Maybe you need some more backup center help. Who knows? Number 6, Malik Beasley, 27. He played with the Milwaukee Bucks this year. Is another guy that I was pretty high on. Just kind of like a wing that can hit threes at a pretty good clip. Number 7, Derek Jones Jr. from the Dallas Mavericks. He's a guy that I know the Pistons had previous interest in before that they did target Jeremy Grant when he was younger. And if you've been watching the NBA playoffs, Derek Jones Jr. has been amazing for the Mavs. So that's why he did crack my list. Number 8 is Miles Bridges, who's 26 years old. Obviously, we talked about him at the top of the podcast, and there is, mutual interest there with the Pistons and Miles Bridges. Number 9, a former Piston, Andre Drummond, is kind of like a low-end center to possibly bring in to back up Durant to, help him develop. Who knows? Maybe you want to have a reunion with Drummond. Drummond is only 30, by the way. And number 10, Tobias Harris, which, I just mentioned Tobias just for the fact that I think the Pistons are going to go after him. I just hope they don't overpay him. He's 31. But those were the top 10 guys that I was thinking that the Pistons could possibly target. Like, again, I didn't have Siakam in there. I didn't have Paul George. I didn't have James Harden. Because I just don't think that those are realistic routes for the Pistons to target. I really don't. Even though they have, close to 65 million cap. They could go out and target those guys, but odds are they could probably reject it. And 64 million in cap, that's a lot of money to spend in free agency if you just want to spend it in free agency. Now, one of the topics before we talked about in the podcast, Amari Sankofa mentioned that the Pistons could use a lot of their cap space, or a majority of their cap space, in the trade market, which is a real possibility. I mean, Troy Weaver, for what it's worth, has used a majority of his cap space during free agency with trades. Now, is Troy going to be still the general manager making these types of moves? Now, that is yet to be determined. We don't know with the new president of basketball ops. He could clean house to Troy and Monty. We just don't know yet. But that was kind of the list I was feeling. Kind of wanted to read the room, see where you guys are at in terms of free agents. I know I did leave off probably some names that I probably should have added, but it could only fit 10 into that graphic. But I want to know what you guys are kind of thinking in terms of possible free agents for the Detroit Pistons, in terms of who they could target in free agency, because they have all this money that they're going to have to spend. I'm under the belief that they sign 2 guys in free agency and use the rest in trades possibly, but that's just what I'm feeling currently right now. But I want to know what you guys think of that. Let me know if there's a free agent that I missed on that list. I'd love to hear like what you guys are thinking in terms of targets that the Pistons could go after.